Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Krashy, and today we're going to be going over a VOD review of the final game between Random Gaming and Tilted Gaming in the StartGG EU launch league. So big shout outs to A-Drive and StartGG for putting this whole thing on, and spoiler alert, Random Gaming does take it because obviously I'm watching the final game and they're winning 1-0. Again, big shout outs to KRASHYS for covering all these matches. That's where I'm able to find this footage and get like that kind of like nice spectator view for it. And we're just going to be watching this. I have to admit, though, I haven't really been keeping up with the EU meta too much. I mostly pay attention to NA. I'll watch some of the Eastern countries, and then, you know, I just try to watch around whenever I can and see what's going on. But Tilted Gaming apparently did really, really good in this tournament. That's what I was told. And Random Gaming is like the #1 team EU, just kind of beat everything. Also, the thing that really interests me is we saw a lot of Dragonite play, both on the NA side and on the EU side. And then, of course, Ghatlue is picking Blastoise. So I want to see where they run it. I want to just kind of peek into what the EU meta is looking like and how it's holding strong. So let's go ahead and dive into it. Let's try not to waste too much time. We have Serena, that's Serena jungle, maybe Sylveon jungle split. And I think it's interesting to see Blissey with the fluffy tail. Really, really interesting decision there. Ghatlue, like I said, going to be on the Blastoise, and then they have Hoopa, both teams, obviously. So crazy stuff there. But we'll go ahead and see what's going on in this game, because I really, like I said, I'm just being totally honest here. I really haven't paid attention to EU a ton. So I'm going to try to look at the map whenever Chris drops this so I can see what's going on the map. So it looks like Sylveon jungle, and then it looks like it's still like bottom lane attacker Blastoise. Okay, Random Gaming seems like the one team that I've seen globally right now that's might still be leaning into that Blastoise. And I didn't actually watch the first game of this. I really just wanted to kind of peek into a single game to kind of close out the whole series. But really interesting. He's stacking the SP attack specs. You can see how they're trying to play aggressive here, like immediately looking across, and that's really, really interesting. He was able to get that in and like trialing like that, but Random kind of starting off really strong. Ooh, look at that. Random Gaming actually losing their Lucario in the top lane. Sorry if I don't know all the players' names, but I'll just probably be sticking to some of the Pokemon names. But Tilted getting the first KO there. And nice. Good start. That's definitely a good start to things. I'll have to try to catch up a little bit. If it's E-Speed, he's going to have level 5, and then Random Gaming's Lucario won't. Ooh, look at this. Interesting, like, rotations up, trying to make decisions based on what they see. And it's really funny that neither team has an attacker except for the Sylveon that was jungle, but there's no like traditional lane attacker. But they're using the attacker in the jungle, Dragonite being the opposing jungle. So really, really interesting. The attacker role as a whole has kind of like gone down a little bit. The lane attacker role specifically hasn't really been seeing a lot of shine. You're seeing Absols and NA played in bottom lane, and just things that I suppose are having like a lot of high impact as opposed to just being like lane bullies. Kind of like playing for more of that like mid to late game strength. They're just hitting some of those power spikes. So we'll see how they decide to do this, that, or the other. I feel like EU, whenever I watch EU, it seems like they scramble the map a little bit more. Like we have Hoopa rotating around the map, like not just like hard sticking to the tri lane. Same thing with this like this bottom lane. Like they have like the Serena rotating around the map. Like they seem a lot more loose and like willing to roam and create openings, which I think is really, really interesting. If you can shot call that and like kind of macro it well, it seems like it could be really, really strong, especially with Hyperspace Hole. Like you can always portal things around and move things around the way that you need to, and there's really nothing that, you know, shows that you have to keep things exactly the same. So I think like proper utilization of just people rotating around the map seems really, really interesting. So that's kind of a neat thing to be able to watch. Of course, Blissey Hoopa being taken on both teams just for the sake of saying, because characters crazy. 720Bs are out. We see Tilted take it very, very quickly. They're getting pretty aggressive, but I don't know. Redmaw doesn't live, dang. He was so close to making it to that goal. He maybe could have got out and got the shield. But we'll see what they decide to do. We do have a level 8 on Dragonite for the side of Tilted Gaming, and I do think that their secure overall is just much, much better. One thing that I feel like we've started to see, or it's actually been going on for a while, but I haven't done a VOD review for a while, but we're starting to see less and less junglers ever even reaching for level 9, and they're starting to span a lot of this experience outward. That's just so flip crazy. Looks like Tilted got it. Okay, so Tilted getting a little bit of momentum, but what we're starting to see more and more of in competitive is that the golden dream of Dreadnought 1 is to have a jungler 9, right? but it's almost like that's not realistic anymore. It feels like it's silly to try to play for that golden dream, the beautiful, perfect, best case scenario. And so instead of playing for that, teams are spanning out some of the experience and they're playing for more power spikes at like level 7, more level 8 unites. Blissey obviously really great for getting unite at level 8, and just trying to get players powerful as a team as opposed to really feeding one person. So, and that's not necessarily just around jungle, just in general, with the way that they split the lanes, the way that they can like hyperspace hole and roam around the map. It really just allows for teams to be stronger across the board. As far as applying this to solo queue, because whenever I do these VOD reviews, it's more so just like paying attention to the competitive scene, but also sometimes thinking about how we can apply some of this to solo queue. The interesting thing that you could say is, like, if you are a jungler and you don't think that you're going to hit like level 9, maybe let somebody else take your farm. I guess that'd be more of like a duo trio queue thing, but you would have to like let somebody like take your farm or something if you don't think you're going to hit that level 9. It definitely feels like hitting level 9 or like for first dread is really hard these days. All right, random gets their Blastoise. They have a couple of unite moves, presumably. We'll see what kind of pressure or what kind of like prioritization they put on Rotom. I think having the Dragonite forces Tilted to kind of respond to it, but at the same time, Serena can just dive on the Dragonite. They still get it though. That's crazy. They're still able to get it. We see unite moves coming out on the top here. But even though these teams are probably going to fight over the Dreadnought too, still putting a lot of focus up in this top lane. The other thing too is that both of the Hoopas are in the bottom lane for unite moves, so they can just go ahead and score here. That's some really nice scores. The Hoopa Rings and Bound are already out, so now they'll just be able to port in. Question is it going to be too late? The Random goes on ahead and burns that one really quickly. So Tilted got a bunch of score. Random's able to get the points in though. So it comes down to a matter of like which one is better, and then how can you kind of convert off of this. Big unite coming out from Dana. Not sure how to say the name, but that was big for holding this point. They're not going to be able to go back there. So again, you can see, and this happens in games, right? Where like, yeah, you're able to get the dreads, and that's awesome and all, but like the experience that you're getting off those dreads isn't really even enough to have a lead. Whereas like mid game going towards late game, like around that 5-4, like 6 down to 4 minute mark, like having a score lead is super important, because that dictates who has to make decisions for the Zapdos. So 226 to 51, that's a pretty sizable lead. And if you look at the levels, we'll compare like Tank Blissey to Tank Blissey's 10-10, top lane's 12-11, jungler is 10 to 11, there's an 11 to a 12, and then 11 to 10. So it's mostly in favor of random gaming side, experience-wise. And they're scrapping really hard for this tower. I think that they know that they need to make a play in order to try to get some score in. So nice push there, just to try to get some score in, which it looks like they are able to do. And even still, I mean, because when you do this, you know that you're trading so much experience back and forth a little bit off of each little kill here and there. Ghatlue using the eject button. He might be able to get this in just to save his life. No, he can't. Okay, so Tilted knows they have normal lead now. The 3-minute call out, both teams know that Tilted has normal lead, which is just less than 100. And see what they can do with that. Jeez, man. Level 14 Serena is absolutely huge. .238 on the clock. I think there is a Rotom up. They're going to have that Rotom pushing. Random's going to trade that for a Dreadnought. We'll see what they do here. Because again, they know they have less than 100 point lead. Red Mom's dealing with it. They'll leave him here to deal with it. Do you still have a Hoopa? Okay. They go on ahead and deal with that. You can see them kind of posturing for it. So it really comes down to this team fight. And if you look at the levels are not bad. Like this has not been a stomp. There's just one team that happens to be winning. It's actually an incredibly close match in that regard. Ghatlue getting a little bit low there. You can see Tilted side Lucario has to run across the field, so he gets basically chased out. He's in terrible position now. He probably lives just based on his mobility, maybe. Oh, maybe not, because he's forced to run back this way. Either way, they're both out of commission. You can see Ghatlue using his Unite move, and the side of Random just looks like they're hard winning this fight here. Super good fight. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, Blastoise is still amazing in team fight, so it's actually just great. They get the zap, and that's most likely going to be it. I want to kind of rewind that fight really quickly just to see. It's a little all over the place because we had the, Lucario kind of clown chase happening. But let's kind of take a look at this fight. So hold on, I actually want to take it back again. I want to really like kind of look into it. We're missing a lot of the context right now. But as we go back up, okay, we can see Red Maw is already low, so that's Random Gaming's Lucario. And Ghatlue is diving into the center. It looks like he's getting Bliss Assistance at the same time that he's uniting, and he's going to hit 3. So he hits 3. The Bliss Assistance comes in, double knocks up the Serena, and then Serena just dies. Like, I mean, insta dies. I think that this is Red Maw. Yeah, this has got to be his Unite move. So it's like boom, boom, boom. 3 ults, hit Serena. She dies instantly. As soon as that kind of resolves... I mean, honestly, everything else is just getting low. I think Sylveon just united, so Sylveon's going to buy themselves a little bit of time to stay alive, but not enough, right? Because they're just kind of getting chopped down. So it's really just like the big team fight break into like the combination of all those ults. Like Red Maw just dropping his Unite move right before he died because he was like getting really, really low. Is able to throw out a lot of that damage. And I like the discipline here, obviously, right? Like the A-press discipline to just like not let them secure that. You got to know to do that, right? Like that's pretty basic. I think it's so interesting because these games, they just seemed so incredibly close. Or like this game particularly seemed really, really close. And even though there's a score lead, it really just came down to them fighting and winning the team fight. I think if I had to guess, there's probably still that layer of we can rip the hell out of this, and that might be what the comp is kind of there for, like having a team comp that can team fight well, but still rip. In my opinion, Dragonite's never been the strongest team fighter, but it's not bad, right? It's definitely not bad. So I guess it kind of feels like it fits like the best of both worlds. It can rip, but it can team fight very, very well as well. Whereas Tilted Gaming's team comp, I'm not sure if it scales super well. They don't have a ton of like hard secure with their comp, and that might have made like some of the game a little bit harder for them, but it doesn't really feel like that was the issue. I really like seeing Ghatlue back on the Blastoise because it just kind of like, in a way, kind of can remind you how strong the character can be. Really interesting. I like it. There you have it, friends. Random Gaming consistently showing that they're like one of the best teams, if not the best team in EU. I definitely expect to see them. We got Chris showing off the stats. I want to pause here for a second just for the sake of looking at it. But yeah, Random Gaming is definitely like the team that every time I do peek over into EU, they're just stomping everything. And Ghatlue putting up 77k. I mean, just doing Blastoise things. And they have a very, like, I mean, they're triple all-rounder team comp. They're very beefy. Hard to take down. Like I said, I don't think attackers bring a ton to the table in that regard. So they're very, very tanky. They bring a lot to the table. They have good secure, good flip potential, good team fight. It's a really interesting comp. So let me know what you think in the comment section down below. If you are an EU watcher, if you're more of an avid EU watcher, definitely let me know your thoughts. Because like I said, I got to catch up a little bit on the meta and just seeing what these teams are playing. The Star GG tournament was 1 week before regional finals, so you don't really know exactly how many of these picks are like their true comp, the true strategy they're going to pull out for regional finals. So we may be watching some like EU meta light, but it'd be really interesting to watch these tournaments happen. So regional finals are going to be next weekend, and we got a lot to cover with that, a lot of streaming to do with that. It's going to be really interesting. So friends, thank you so much for watching. Drop a like in the video, subscribe for future Pokemon Unite content. As always, be sure to be kind to one another. Tell someone you love them, and I'll see you on the next video.